Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another game in my Road to Expert series. This is game number 9, and this is round number 1 of the Fall Swiss. I'm a little bit behind in my posting, so this game was played back in August, early August. So it's December 10th right now, so I'm about 4 months behind. I need to catch up. I'm going to work really hard to get you as many games as I can very quickly. And I have to start recording them. This is the start. I'm in a weird mental spot in my chess at this time. And I'm on a decline. And I'm trying to get back at it. So let's get into the game here. So I started playing one knight f3. And I'm a little bit behind on where I used to be and what I was playing before. Yeah, actually, no, this is the start of making some changes. I was playing the Dutch and playing e4, so I am starting to make some changes to my opening repertoire, which does not prove to be amazing, but we'll see how it goes. All right, so I'm playing Michael Lawrence in round 1. He's a 1400 level player, and I am 1805 at the time of this game. So let's kind of get into the game. So I'm already making a mistake right here by playing g3. What I should have probably played is d4, protecting the e5 square. Now, I know Michael is quite a passive player, and he likes to play these King's Indian defense and modern defense structures. So I didn't expect him to push early pawns, and he actually did. So I started playing the King's Indian defense, but I'm kind of playing it very passively, which you will see in this game. I've already, black is already equalized at this point, and that is due to my lack of understanding of how to play in this opening really well. So let's kind of see where we get to. I want to get to some of the critical points in the game. This is a very good example of what not to do when playing the King's Indian attack. So allowing this type of setup here with all of these pieces just so expertly placed and just kind of going for my setup, not ideal. Don't play in this manner. So yeah, I even have a note here after e6 out of the Masters database here. Interesting, though, that e4 scores 55% of amateur games right now. So I guess it is kind of favorable for white. Now, I don't feel as though it is because I didn't really fight for the center. However, black only passively fought for the center, didn't really try to make anything going forward. So, and here I thought this was an interesting choice. When black pushes here, it seems as though this is not very, this does not score very well for black. It's under 40% at this point. So I thought, well, okay, I got everything I want at opening. I'm finding out later that this isn't what I want out of the opening. So I struggle in this type of structure quite a bit, where black has an e5 and I have to then break with f4. I actually struggle a lot with pawn breaks overall since I returned, so over the last 2 years. So though this is great, scoring for white very well, for me, I am struggling a lot in this type of scenario because I've allowed black to have too much space. And I don't play very well without having a bunch of space, apparently. So a4, maybe trying to gain hold of the c4 square castles. And this is a critical point. I even have a note here that says, what's the plan? There are options here, rook e1. Okay, but is there anything better? And I played rook e1, and it's maybe not the best idea, as rook e1 actually gives some favor to black. I think a better option would, now that I'm looking at it again, is maybe knight h4. with the idea of a quick f5. But I'm stuck here because I only know one plan, which is to play rook e1 and knight to f1, and then try to expand on the king side. Nowhere in my mind am I thinking that I can play on the queen side other than playing here, and I just didn't maybe like that type of scenario where the bishop, I play here and then he kicks us off, and then I get this just ugly pawn structure. I wasn't sure how I like this. I did consider it during the game, but I think that this is probably a better way to go, because I've won the bishop pair and I can kind of continue on here, and I can still go for the f pawn break, and I think this is fine. I think this would a better way to go. Though at the time of the game I did see it and I considered it. To me, in my brain, it didn't compute, oh, I'm getting the bishop pair positionally. I think this is really well, and then my light scored bishop is going to become very awesome at some point in the game. But I didn't play for long term. I was always playing short term, and I played my normal plan. And now at this point, I really strongly considered not making this move. And by looking at, knight to f1, it actually gives slight advantage to black. So I'm actually allowing black to kind of do whatever they like. Maybe this is good, maybe it's bad. It's scoring in the Lichess normal database. Bishop h3 is 75% for white. But, you still have to prove this. And I think at this point in my game, I'm just allowing too much for my opponent. So he played bishop g4, pinning the knight. And now I'm just trying to figure out how best to unwind my pieces. I thought about just saying, hey, I've made a mistake, let's go back. I did consider it, and then say, hey, this was maybe not the best idea, and the knight would be better here because I can always still come here after I kick the bishop. Now I can't do that because there's this battery here, so I have to be careful on when to time that, if I can play it at all. But I didn't play that. Bishop d2, rook a to e8. Michael's playing very well. He's getting all his pieces. He knows that eventually these are going to open up and there's going to be a battle. Queen c1, and he played h6. And I had an extreme urge in my aggressive super manner to snap that off. And I fought against it. I didn't play it, thankfully enough. So, and the reason is, after, let's take a look. If we take that, I only have 2 pieces in the attack. It's going to take a little while for me to get the knight going. And if I can go, because, black is covering this square, it's going to be hard to get my pieces in, especially since I don't have control of the e3 square. So there's really no way to continue. I can't find a way. In earlier Nick, I would have just yeeted my pieces out there and said, let's go. But so nice point in this game is I'm actually showing some restraint, which is really nice to see. So I've actually, I can tell that I've improved. Now, I sacrificed a bishop, and I really don't have much of attack, so that would have been bad. So I played rook to b1. I came up with a different plan. I want to play b4 and b5 and kick his knight out, and finally expand on the queen side. And I thought this was very good. I also saw, nope, not that, where I just play king to h1 and then knight to g1 and then kind of play for h3, king to h2, and then unwind my pieces that way. But I thought this was extremely slow, and I thought maybe this wasn't the best idea, right? So, and then it's like, if you just look at this, like, let's say they just make some other move, like a6, and I go here. This just looks like, I've kind of like undeveloped most of my pieces, but my bishops, and this just looks bad. Like, and I'm not opposed to playing bad looking chess. I don't care about that. But knowing that I want my pieces, like if you were to take all the minor pieces off the board and look about where the best places for your pieces would be, you'd want them up on some of these squares, right? You want them kind of in the mix, and they're not. And I'm not really contesting anything, and black can kind of do whatever they want. And so maybe not a best idea. All right, let's go for my plan. He also is going for his plan, which is try to get more pieces on the king side. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and potentially 5 pieces protecting my king, along with the rooks maybe coming in. So it's going to take a lot for him to crash through if he wants to attack. So I'm not really too worried about that, but I can see his plan. His plan is to play f5. So I'm going to continue with mine. b4, f5, and b5. And really what I've figured out a few moves later is that he ends up getting more pieces. I'm kind of forcing him to get his pieces over here. Yeah, I've gained some space that provides no benefit to me right now whatsoever. That, what did I achieve and what did black achieve? Black is going to get more pieces over to the king side for an attack, and I have really only gained space. That space is good, but maybe there was better, more fighting options. Now, though, now that I'm looking, instead of playing, I played bishop b4, which is a mistake. And right now the evaluation is -1. So black is in quite favorable right now. And looking at the game right now, did I put it in my analysis? h3. Yeah, I did. And we could have gotten some sort of scenario like this. Now, this is an engine line that came up later from my mistake. This is the most ideal play from both sides. And we would have got a position like this, which is very difficult to deal with. And I did see this part. Excuse me. But I did not see to here giving up the piece. So my calculation ended here and there was more to see, but I didn't go for that, unfortunately. And yeah, of course the engine says it would be better, so of course it would be better. I played b4. I want to swap off this bishop, and I thought, well, I have a lot of options. What do I do? Is it possible that, I know this is a mistake, but I'm trying to calculate all these other things. Like, do I take? The other option was, now how do I handle this situation? So this was perhaps a try that I saw. Not exactly sure how good this is. Knight takes, h3, bishop takes, and bishop takes. I saw this, which I thought is okay. I feel a little bit loose, but my king can come forward and protect my pawns. I think this is still okay. And let's see a little bit further in this line that I had saw. And bishop d2, and I think we're okay. We still have problems, of course, but I think that this is all right to play for black or for white. Black is still holding advantage, of course, but it's quite interesting. I also thought that this could be a difficult move to address, and I didn't like it at all, because now he's got this really big, lots of pressure on the f file, and I just didn't like that. So I said, well, you know what, I'm going to continue with my plan, because I didn't really like a lot of those other options. He took. I took, which was a blunder. What I should have played was just come back and then trade this way, according to the engine. And it goes a little bit further. And this gets... It's really hard to see all of this. It's a crazy engine line, of course, but that would have been the better way to play. And at this point, I am at -6 with this blunder. However, my opponent missed it as well, and he made a mistake, which lands me only at -3. And I now, at this point in the game, I really have a lot to handle. So the evaluation at one point is -6. So I'm completely losing. Like, this is a lost game at this point, if my opponent finds this move. And this is hard to deal with. And yeah, it's really hard. I saw this was a potential outcome, and I thought, well, he has two pieces for a rook, so it's unbalanced, and this is fighting. I also saw this. Which I thought was interesting. And then I also saw this. And I think I'm unwinding. What I missed was, it's all still bad no matter which way I do it. So if he finds e takes, I'm in trouble. So I did miscalculate most of that because of e takes. Unfortunately, he took here. He didn't want to complicate it, so he took here. And I played this game. This is the only move I found that was actually any good during the game, and it seems to be okay. Everything else that I came up with in my analysis here kind of just doesn't look good. I don't need to point that out because I think it's pretty obvious to see. I have to do something with this knight. Otherwise, he's going to take, right? Even if I try to get fancy with this type of move, I don't think it works. So knight 3, and so now I've given up some pawns, and black is certainly better. You know, they're -3 is the evaluation right now. So I am in trouble and struggling. I feel as though I found some really good practical moves, and I made some really good decisions. However, I'm still on the back foot based on how I played the opening and what I allowed black to just continue doing, which was just, I don't know why I'm allowing that much activity from black instead of playing fighting chess. It's very passive. So he played knight g5, and now I felt really uneasy, and I had some actual thoughts about losing this game. I thought, oh man, I'm going to lose to a 1400. Michael's playing a really great game today, and I am not playing a very good game at all. So I'm playing near the bottom of my ability, and he's playing near the top of his, and he's really giving me a game. There's no reason I have any business winning this game at this point. If I'm playing somebody stronger, it's quite possible that I'm losing this game for sure. But let's see what happens moving forward. It's really hard move to deal with. I found knight e4. I considered h4 as well. And if he tries to come in, I think it's somewhat holding because I don't have to take the bishop. I can let him take. And then I get a move like this, and I think I'm barely holding. I've got one move to be able to defend this pawn, and I think I'm okay. This knight is still a problem. I have to get it out somehow. So move like here, and then maybe bringing my queen here and here, and then I think maybe I'm unwinding. And I think I've got really good chances. I think all the trades and the pieces are inevitable. I think this might have been also another resource because it does come here after some trades. Also possible. So knight to e4, and he came in this way, knight to h3. And the best move is actually taking, which to me felt weird. And this was the engine line. And yeah, of course it seems more testing. And here we're fine. Not fine, but like I'm still fighting. I didn't do that. There's a lot of tactics here. I knew that I was going to be dropping this pawn because I moved my king. So I decided to allow it. And I thought, well, I'm going to go try to trade off as many pieces as I can. Even though I've dropped another pawn, maybe if I can keep a bishop and my queen and maybe a rook, that I might have some chances with some back rank troubles. I can always get my bishop here, protecting the square, and maybe get my queen in here, and maybe I can get a perpetual check or something like that. I'm thinking about trying to draw at this point in the game because I feel as though I'm probably going to lose. So now I'm fighting for my life for a draw. So right at this point, I just want to try to trade off pieces. And I thought, oh, he's not taking some things. I'm seeing the whole board, which is really nice. And I thought, well, there's some tactics here. and I'm getting what I want. Not everything I want, but it's -5 right now. So right now I'm just trying to survive. And no draws here. I saw a lot of stuff with the knight coming into c3, and I think I navigated from here really, really well. Against anybody else, I'm probably losing this game. So let's see what happens with the results. So obviously I've made some comments mentioning that it's not a loss for me, so it's either a draw or a win, but let's see what happens. So he comes in, and I'm just trying to navigate the best I can, and we get bishop g4. So sorry, I got a message. So I decided to make some concessions and just hope that I can try for, like I was talking about, getting some sort of thing going. Okay, let's continue. Yep, comes in. I'm going to drop the exchange and saving him from coming in here. Bishop takes. Knight takes. Okay. b6. e4. Knight to e4. Okay, sorry about that little cut there. I was having some technical difficulties and some phone calls coming in all at the same time. So figured a cut was fine. We're already 20 minutes into this video, so it's going to be a little bit longer. There's a little bit more of the game left I want to show. But at this point in the game, I'm like 20 minutes behind. I'm down on the clock, and I'm really fighting for my life. I've got 20 minutes left to get through this game, and I need to kind of speed up and try to throw him off his game so I can try. So I really start kind of playing a lot more quickly than usual. Right now, if you look at this game, this is probably losing for white. It's -6 at this point. So how do I get through the rest of this game? Let's take a look. And what I found was knight d2, I need to unwind somehow. I thought for sure he would try to trade queens. He plays b6, knight to e4. I find this really nice outpost, and I thought, well, I got to get up here. If he wants to get rid of his light squared bishop for mine, I'm okay keeping my light squared bishop with my queen and have a queen and a bishop versus queen and rook being down the exchange. And a few pawns, I think, okay, as long as I got these two together, I think I can hold. And I think I'm okay. I'm not sure. He played here, and I thought, well, worst case scenario, I should maybe get some, things to do against the king. And I fully expected him coming in here. King to h2. And now I'm kind of stuck. I have to maybe get my pawn up because this is pinned. The other option was going here. Maybe it doesn't work either way. I just thought there might be fewer checks, but I didn't want to give up another pawn. So, and now the black is still holding this, and there's nothing to do. So I played king h2 instead, holding on to the pawn. And this move was very surprising. This has to be a mistake. I marked it as a mistake. The engine does not find it as a mistake, but I didn't think you could allow any checks because that would just be silly, right? Like practically wise. Now, an engine could be able to hold this very well, but I think all he had to do was just keep his rook here, and it's a one game for black. Anybody in this position, I think, would be able to beat me. But he had some sort of lapse in judgment and brought his king or rook up. So I thought, well, he's got to go back. He's got to move his rook back to hold. And he got greedy and took the pawn, and queen to a8, and king is in check. I thought that he might just come back here, and then I would pick up the a2 pawn. I've made a little bit of progress. It's still not perfect, but I saw this, and I've saved a draw at least, I think, if he was to go for that. Which Michael has some tendencies to try to draw when he's like, I don't know if it's just he doesn't get a lot of time to play or study at home, so usually he's only kind of just here for fun. So I think if he given some time, he'd be able to close these positions out all the time. So I played here. He now played rook to g6. I thought he might play g6, but I think that's really rough for black to deal with because I'm going to just keep moving my queen forward like this. And I think that's all on the way. He played rook to g6, and I thought, oh, okay, well, let's take stock of the position. If I take that and we get this maneuver, I have 3 pawns against pretty much all of his. So it's really rough. And I played here, and it says checkmate is now unavoidable. So I had to stop checkmate. And this is the best line that I should have played, but I did not play that. I made it one last blunder, queen to a7, and I thought, oh no. Well, I didn't think, oh no. I thought, well, I'm still fighting. I'm going to try to take these pawns and maybe try to queen something. d3. I thought for sure that he might try to push these pawns really fast. Queen to b6, queen to e4. And I calculated this from when I took the pawn. I thought for sure that this is what he would go for, because this is the forwardmost pawn and I can't reach it, so he can just queen it. And I thought, well, he was greedy taking this pawn. He'll be greedy trying to queen. And there's some dirty tricks here. So d3, queen takes b6, and queen to e4. And can you see what is best? Right now it's -10. And I thought for sure he would come down here and then queen, which then it's pretty much over. He didn't. He played here, and the evaluation shifts. Queen takes queen. And there's one move that saves the whole position. Can you find the move? Leave a comment down below. King f2. And after this, he immediately resigned because there's no way to stop these pawns, and I'm going to gobble them all back up. And my king is close enough to the queen-8 square. So I had extreme resilience in this game, so I'm very proud of that. And the fact that I didn't just automatically peel off this h6 pawn. Where is it? Yeah, right here. In this position. So I had some wins in this game, but overall this game was an absolute atrocious nightmare for me. So Michael played very, very well with, unfortunately a blunder at the end, but there's no reason I should have won this game. This should have been Michael's game to win for sure. I've not been playing very well at this point, and he was. So he definitely deserved to win that game. The only thing that helped me win this game was absolute resilience. So I have a lot to learn, and thanks for watching, everybody, and I hope you guys liked this episode. And don't be afraid to leave a like. It shows that you like this material and you want to see more, and I'm going to be sharing a lot more of my journey. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Take care.